As Charlie Bucket once said,
"Here we go again."
hello everybody, how are we doing? Here we go again. It's time to have a go at my arch nemesis, the PlayStation 1. We're going to get it this time. So, I failed last time, obviously, did a video about it, died. We all know what happened there. If you don't, go back and watch that. I had one PlayStation which had the right motherboard to give it a second try. All the others had different motherboards, so they wouldn't work with the parts that I bought. You could still do most of the mods, you just can't with the ones I bought. You know what I mean. So, I got that one out and had a crack with that one. And, yeah, that didn't go so well.
Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture? Anybody? Anybody at all?
Basically, as I was taking off the caps at the very, very first stage, it took off the pad that it sits on, the cap, and there was no way to fix that. So that was that. So I was another one dead. I am the PlayStation murderer. Destroyer of PlayStations. Yeah, there was another dead one. So I had to buy another one. So we got this one from eBay. It is in absolutely amazing condition. It's in really good condition. I've not tested it yet, so we'll be doing that first. But yeah, it's in absolutely stunning condition, which is not a problem. Which was a good thing, which wouldn't have been a problem if it was a bit knackered, because I've got obviously other cases I could have put it in, but this one's in really good condition, so I think we'll keep it in the same case. Just a bit of recap of what we're putting in it. We got the Retro Gem kit HDMI set, so we'll be getting that installed today. We've got the Xstation, which is obviously the ODE or optical disc emulator, which will enable us to put all of the games on there. And the fact that we're doing this later now, I actually do now have the entire library of all the PlayStation games. Every single NTSC PlayStation game, plus every single PAL exclusive, plus a load of crazy Japanese games, plus some duplicates for the PAL region, because I was worried that maybe some of the soundtracks might be different, so I just got some extra ones of those as well. So yeah, we will be very close to filling up this 1 terabyte micro SD card. So yeah, there's a lot of games for the PlayStation. And then also we have the Xstation cover that Simon printed out for me, so that's good. Right, let's get down to the workshop and try not to fuckist uppist. So now that we know she works, that's all good. We can then crack on. We know that everything's working. Kind of feel a little bit guilty now because, I'm taking a perfectly functioning PlayStation 1 and potentially killing it. Pops has said that this is the last attempt I've allowed on the PlayStation. I can't keep killing them. As a as a lover of retro games, it would be immoral for me to keep murdering PlayStations in the pursuit of my own pleasure. So let's see how we get on. Right, we know the score by now. Step 1 is just take it apart, we undo the screws underneath it, flip it back over, unplug all of the cables that we need to do, and then undo a few more screws, and the whole thing just lifts out fairly straightforwardly, really. Next we just have to take off the stupid RF shielding. Legs are soldered onto the main board, so just heat them up with the soldering iron and they just pop straight off, no biggie. Then it's out with a chisel tip and the Amazon's basic desoldering pump, which is going to heat up all of these little pins here which hold in the AV port, and we just give them a bit of heat and then a bit of suck and off they come. No great trauma, and then when you've cleared all the solder it just comes straight out. Then we've got to heat up these caps again and take them off the board again, only this time definitely not overheating them or pulling too hard so that the pad that they sit on comes out like I did with the last one. And again, this is fairly straightforward, just take your time, heat them and they pop straight off. And then after that we're going to take off this little teeny tiny little thing here, which is to do with the internal clock, but we're going to use the Retro Gem one, so we'll just heat that up and then hold it off with some tweezers and off it comes. Now that that board's prepared, we've got to get the old board from the first time I tried this, and we have to remove the tantalums from that, so we can then transplant them onto there, because I couldn't get another set of tantalums. I could have potentially gone on Amazon and tried to find something that would match, but I don't know enough about electronics to make sure I'm getting the right one, so we're just going to salvage them from there and hope it goes okay. Exactly the same procedure as removing the caps. It's just a case of heating them up nice and gently and giving them a bit of a tug with the tweezers, but being very gentle so as you don't pull off the bed underneath. Although, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, this board's already fucked, so it's not the end of the world if I do. But I am trying to keep the tantalums in good condition, because we're going to transplant them back onto this new board. No great mystery to this. Heat them up, stick them in place, add a bit more solder, bish bash bosh. Well, the transplants seem to go as well as can be expected, I think. They seem to be on there and they seem to be holding up. Hopefully they haven't died, been, you know, attached, then deattached, then reattached to a different board. Hopefully they'll be fine. Now onto the hard bit. Lessons learned from last time. I decided to pre-tin all of the cables this time before putting them in place. I also decided to start with the larger and harder of the cables, just, you know, rather than start on one of the easier ones and then get them go on okay and then fuck up the big one. Although I might as well just jump into the hard one, and then if I fuck it up, I fuck it up, and then I don't have to go any further. So covered it all in flux and then got it lined up as best I could, whacked the chisel on there, and then just held it down and just heat them up in the hope that way I'll get some to hold in place so it wouldn't then move around anymore, which was a problem I had last time. It seemed to work fairly well. Then after that I went for the little leg that needs to go over onto a little pad over here. This was a little bit awkward. Was pretty reluctant to go on there, but with a bit of flux and a bit of kind of prodding and heating up, eventually it did kind of go on and bite. Then after that, once that was in place, I then decided to add some more flux and then just go over it and just make sure I was getting all of them sort of held down in place. Even if they were bridging a little bit, at least if they were all holding in place and everything was all lined up, then it would just be a case of a bit of tidying up work to be done. Once I got them all in place, as you can see, there was a few little bits of bridging going on, but nothing major. It was only a few little tiny ones here and there, so with just an extra little bit of heat and then adding a little bit more flux here and there, you can see I just gave them a little nudge, and that was it. The flux and the tiny amount of solder that was on there meant that, you know, just a little bit of heat and then they just flowed to where they were supposed to go. I think definitely last time I'd put way too much solder on on my tip. So yeah, it actually worked out, as far as I can tell. It seemed to work out pretty good, to be honest. Like, I think I got that. That looks okay. I think it's worked. I had a few bridges, but only little tiny ones, and they just came straight up. Camera with a zoom through a magnifying glass. Yeah, they all look fine. Yeah, I mean seriously, they all look to be connected. As far as I can tell, that's fucking golden. That's fucking nuts if I've got that first time. I'll be absolutely fucking... I will be amazed if I got that first time. Confidence was high now after I got that first bit on, so we just pre-tinned up the audio ribbon cable, held it in place, and then just jabbed it in place with the chisel chip, just the same as I did with the large ribbon cable. The final rubber cable to go in is just for the controller, so that way you can access the Retro Gem through the controller. This is, again, fairly straightforward. This one, you just line it up, get it held in place, tack it down, add a load more solder, bish bash bosh, and that one was on too. I think we'll call it a day there, to be honest. We've just spent the past half an hour, 45 minutes trying to solder up the Pixel FX board. Funnily enough, the Retro Gem, because it's a universal board, you have to jump. There's loads and loads of different pins on there that you need to jump with solder. I haven't got any footage of that because it took me ages, because oh, the irony, I couldn't get any of them to jump. Like, the amount of times I've been bridging pins, and like, which obviously causes a short and you can't do that, and then when I actually want them to bridge, to sort of say, right, I need to bridge that one, this one and this one, to because it's a universal board, so you need to do that. The great irony is I couldn't get any of them to bridge. Absolute fucking nightmare. So there's been ages at that, but anyway, we'll call it a day there, and we'll come back to this tomorrow, and hopefully we should have HDMI, and hopefully we should then be able to get the Xstation in. I believe the Xstation's a little bit shorter and easier, so we'll see what happens. Alright.
the next day.
So day 2, I guess first job is to put the Retro Gem together. There's like some adapters you need to sort out at the back end so that it fits into the PlayStation 1. Get it all wired up, and then let's give it a test and see if yesterday was a bust, I guess. So you just pick up the little teeny tiny nut there and just drop it down into the housing there where it was pre-cut out for it to go in, and then you put your finger over it to hold it in place so it won't go anywhere. You put through the bolt and get your little trusty screwdriver and then give that a little screw, and then that goes in there nice and simples. Okay, that was kind of annoying. The bolts that it came with, the nut and bolts that they came with, are too short. The bolts are fine and the nuts are fine and they do go together, but you put the nut in the housing and the bolt through. There's not close enough for them to bite, so you just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. The bolt's as far through as it can go, the nut's in place, but it's not far enough. The bolt needed to be a good sort of mil and a half, maybe longer. So, as always, when stuff doesn't go work, we done jerry-rigged it with some cable ties. Hey man, if it works, it works, you know? I had freaking a whole race car held together with cable ties and twist ties. So, you know, let's get this puppy back together, or half back together, and see if it works.
What follows is a brief construction montage. We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
Right then guys, moment of truth. I've got it pretty much back together. Well, partially back together, so let's get it powered on and see what we get. Okay, so I've gone back, and as far as I can see, everything looks okay. I've re-prodded at the CPU one just to make sure that that's all making connection. It didn't seem to be bridging anywhere. It kind of looked okay. Like I say, I just sort of felt and just made sure of everything, and I took it apart, re-put the cables in. I hadn't put in the CD drive. You know, the laser, I haven't plugged that in, so that might have caused an issue as well. I don't know. So I've redone it. Let's have a go. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't see anything wrong with it. Everything looks, and I've got the magnifying glass out. I've had a real good skeg on it, and there's no sign of anything wrong. I suppose I'll just keep going and just see if there's anything else that's missed. But yeah, this might be fail number 2, 3. This is the furthest I've got though. But yeah, might just be that.
Eventually,
on the tutorial I was finished watching, I'd sort of got all the way to the bit where it was putting it together and thought, oh, this is all gravy and everything on there. And then it kind of cut, and then he went, oh, just one last thing that I forgot to do. Because of the way that I've done it, we need to do X, Y, and Z. You need to solder this and you need to do that. So hopefully that solved the problem. So I've done it, I've done what he's done, and I'm like, right, okay, maybe that'll fix it. Right, so let's give it another bash. Screaming of 1,000 damned souls. I'm not going to lie, opening up a portal to another dimension populated exclusively by screaming, great howling things was a little bit disheartening. But it wasn't the end of the world. And like, if I just take the sound ribbon cable off and then, you know, redo that or whatever, then maybe I'll sort it. It looked okay, but I think maybe it might have just been a little bit off, a little bit at a funny angle or something. So I thought, well, that should be fine. We'll just take it off and resolder it. So I tried to take it off, and as I did, I accidentally pulled off one of the connection points on the ribbon cable, thusly fucking that up. At this point, I was like, do you know what? It's really not worth it. I think we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and pay someone to do it for me. I went into town and did find someone that was willing to do it and said they could do that. But I thought, do you know what? We've come this far. We can do this. So I've ordered a third set of ribbon cables, which I was going to have to do anyway, even if they were going to fix it. I was going to have to get a third set of ribbon cables. I'm going to get a third set of ribbon cables. We've got the video, seems to be working fine. Got that all right. So it's just sorting out the audio, and that's fine. And there's still the other mod to do. So while we're waiting for the third set of cables to turn up, I'm just going to install the Xstation on the other side of the board and make sure that's working. And then we should be good to go. Step 1, and probably the hardest part of installing the Xstation, is you have to go around and pull up a load of pins on this chip here, apparently, and that's a thing you have to do. Right, so I'm pretty sure I've got all of the pins pulled up, which is what you need to do for this. I couldn't really film this because I had to get so close. My head was just obscuring the shot, and so was the magnifying glass. I'm pretty sure I have burnt one of the pads off. Which I'm hoping doesn't matter. Might just render the whole enterprise completely moot. But you know, that pin's not getting used, so hopefully it'll be fine. Just by burning that one off by mistake, it'll be all right. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But we've got the pins off. We've got the pins bent. I don't even know if you can see that on the screen. But yeah, they're little dinky, teeny, tiny pins. Where are we? Come on, focus. What even is focus? Come on, camera, you can do it. Yeah, you can. The little camera that could. Okay, you can see that those three there have been pulled up. Just on the end there. There's another one there. And then there's these ones. Those ones there that all need to be pulled up. That's where I burnt off the pad. But hopefully, we should be okay. Next up, we just had to scratch off some soldering mask in a couple of places, and then it was a fairly straightforward install. We just have to put the board in its place and then solder all the bits what done needs soldering. It's not particularly hard. They're fairly big, and you can just put a good blob on there, and that's not the end of the world. Then we just need to remove a tiny little resistor here, which you can see perfectly well. Then we just solder in a wire at one point over here and then back over to the Xstation board, and that's the install done. Right, so that's about as far as we can go for one day. I've got it all installed. It looks okay as far as I can tell. I don't know, I've got all the pins bent up as I should have done. I've got the board soldered in on the other side. That seems to all be holding. I've got my wire on. I don't know, man. Seems okay. But then everything else has seemed okay before it then opened the portal to hell. So now we can't really do anything until we get the audio cable. Interesting thing is that when we do get the audio cable, now that I've installed that, it's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to test anything until it's all back together. I'll see if I can, but I'm not sure. I think once I put the audio cable on, I'm then going to knit everything together. I'm not sure if it'll be able to just test as it is, but it'll either work or it won't. Let's just hang fire until that arrives then.
If anyone dies, move the body to another room in the house. Label the body with name and address. If you have had a body in the house for more than 5 days, then you should bury the body for the time being in a trench or cover it with earth.
A couple of weeks later, we have a new set of cables. let's get these installed and see if we've been successful or not. And for the fifth and final time, we're just going to pre-tin the contacts on the audio cable, and then we can just line it up and be very careful and blow it in place using a chisel tip, and all being well, looking at those, they look pretty fine and dandy. Okay, so we've got it installed, all looks pretty good. I guess what we're going to do now is try and put it back together and give it a test. Nope. So I guess you're wondering whether I actually got this sorted or not. Drum roll, please. Ha ha! Here it is, all done and finished. As you can see, we've got the HDMI on the back. We got the Xstation installed on the inside there. I'll get a nice little close-up for the video so you can see that. Yes! So I spent another wee little while on it, and I still couldn't get anywhere. So I took it to an autistic man in Scarborough who has a mobile repair shop. And he said he'd be willing to have a go at it and have a look at it. And he went over it, and to be fair, right? To be fair, in my defence, okay, he said, and I quote, "I can't believe you got as close as you did without using a microscope." Because I just used that ring light. I just used a ring light and a magnifying glass. He had to get it up on a microscope, and he managed to find that there was 2 bridges, he said, which you wouldn't be able to see without it being under a microscope. And one of the legs on one of the CPU, on I think the GPU or something, had just lifted a little bit, a tiny, tiny bit. And he said that's all that was wrong with it. He said, but you had no hope of finding that without a microscope. Kind of, to all intents and purposes, I did it. I guess kind of modded it, but yeah, it's working now because there's like 1400 discs on the SD card there. It kind of made playing games that were in kind of W, like Wipeout, a bit of a chore because it took quite a while to scroll through them. So I ended up having to folderize them. I'm not sure that's a word, but I'm going to use it. Folderize. But yeah, it's working. It's rocking out in glorious HD. It's still currently the base model. I will get it updated to the shiny at some point so we get it in 1440p, but for now I'm just happy it's working, to be honest. I'm just happy it's up and running. So thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that. It's been a long journey to get here, to get it up and running. It does make me doubt doing any other major soldering mods, but there are still some mods still to come, so keep an eye out for those. I will be back next month with another modding video.
Do whatever the hell you want. What do I care?
In the meantime, there's other mods. If you've not seen them already, go back and have a look at some of my other stupid antics. And yeah, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all on the flip side. Yes, take it easy. Come to my streams.